Hello and welcome back to Road Tripvia, the road trip ready trivia quiz made to be played in the car. Today's episode is number 525, the category Brainy Tuesday, number 19. This is a 21 question random knowledge trivia quiz where all of the questions are just a little bit harder than your standard pub quiz style trivia, so you will need to turn your thinking cap on. There are 20 questions up front. There's a question 21 tiebreaker at the end of the episode if you need to stick around for that. You can follow us on Instagram and on Facebook, subscribe to us here on YouTube, and let's get started with question number 1. Also referred to as an Einstein-Rosen bridge, what is the more common name for the speculative structure linking disparate points in spacetime that is based on a special solution of the Einstein field equations? What is the more common name for the Einstein-Rosen bridge? The term we're looking for is a wormhole. Question number 2. Race car is one of the larger ones. Smaller ones include radar, level, kayak, dad, and mom. What is the name for this type of word, or even a whole sentence like, go hang a salami, I'm a lasagna hog, one that is spelled the same frontwards and backwards? The answer is palindrome. Question number 3. He defended himself in court and was declared guilty of murder. What was the name of the man who proclaimed, I am a stalwart and Arthur is president, after shooting U.S. President Garfield in 1881? That man's name was Charles Guiteau. Question number 4. A French physician, anatomist, and anthropologist was best known for his research on what region of the frontal lobe of the human brain, with functions linked to speech production, that is named after him? So if you know his name, tell me the area of the brain. His name is Pierre-Paul Broca. The answer is Broca's area. Question number 5. What author was best known for 2 of her published collections, The Colossus and Other Poems, and Ariel, as well as The Bell Jar, a semi-autobiographical novel published shortly before her death in 1963? What is the name of this author? The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. Question number 6. The largest planet in our solar system is Jupiter, but the largest natural object orbiting a planet is what satellite of Jupiter named after the cupbearer of the ancient Greek gods? Jupiter's largest moon is named after Ganymede, the cupbearer of the gods. Question number 7. Her father disinherits her because she lacks the glib and oily art of flattery, though her honesty moves the King of France to marry her anyway. What is the name of this youngest daughter of Shakespeare's King Lear? The youngest daughter of Shakespeare's King Lear. Her name is Cordelia. Question number 8. On March 4th, 1918, Albert Mitchell, an Army cook at Camp Funston in Fort Riley, Kansas, was the first person to come down with what disease that 18 months later, in 1919, had killed 25 million people? First spotted right here in Kansas, that disease is the Spanish flu, or Spanish influenza. Question number 9. Although not the most successful of Alexander's generals, what Greek military general did establish the longest lasting of the successor kingdoms, which ruled Egypt from 331 BC until the death of Cleopatra? What was the name of that general? The answer is Ptolemy the Great, or just Ptolemy. Question number 10. She used to be a dancer and a civil rights activist. She was also professor at Wake Forest University. However, she is more commonly known as a writer and a poet. What is the name of the author of I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings? Her name is Maya Angelou. Question number 11. For whom was Walt Whitman mourning when he wrote the lines, "When lilacs last and the dooryard bloomed, and the great star early drooped in the western sky in the night, I mourned, and yet shall mourn with ever-returning spring"? Who was Walt Whitman writing about? The answer is Abraham Lincoln. Question number 12. Toccata and Fugue in D minor, Rite of Spring, Pastoral Symphony, Night on Bald Mountain, and The Sorcerer's Apprentice all appear in what 1940 full-length animated film? One of those might stick out to you. The Sorcerer's Apprentice, that is from Fantasia. Question number 13. One of the first microscopists and microbiologists was what Dutch businessman and scientist in the golden age of Dutch science and technology that was commonly known as the father of microbiology? One of the first people with a microscope, his name was Leeuwenhoek, Antony van Leeuwenhoek. Question number 14. An ancient Greek infantry formation consisted of rows of 8 men, each heavily armed with an overlapping shield and a long pike. What is the term for this military formation that Alexander the Great used to defeat the Persians? Might be something to try out with your boys this weekend. It's called a phalanx. Question number 15. As opposed to a neurosis, which is an unconscious attempt to conform with reality, what is the name of the psychological condition that is a mental defect which renders one unable to distinguish between fantasy and reality? Neurosis is an unconscious attempt to conform with reality. What is the mental defect which makes it to where you can't even distinguish between fantasy and reality? The answer is psychosis. Question number 16. What Chinese dynasty, famous for its vases, was divided by historians into the early period, which lasted from 1368 to 1424, the early middle from 1425 to 1505, the late middle from 1506 to 1590, and the late from 1591 to 1644? Think about the vases. The answer is the Ming Dynasty. Question number 17. Discovered independently by E.W. Twort in 1915 and Felix de Herrelio in 1917, some common prefixes used in classifying them are mixo, toga, rhabdo, pox, adeno, rhino, and retro. What are these very small and simple self-replicating parasites? Adeno, rhino, and retroviruses. Viruses is the word we're looking for. Question number 18, from the Latin for the removal or destruction of 1/10. What is the 8-letter word that was a Roman punishment that was used by the French in World War I when they would execute every 10th trench soldier as a deterrent to desertion? There's a lot of alliterations and tongue twisters in that question. The word we're looking for is to decimate. Decimate. Question number 19. An important man in prehistoric Stone Age times, at least according to the Hanna-Barbera version of history, what was the name of Fred Flintstone's boss on the Flintstones who hired and fired Fred on a regular basis? Most of the time, he was Barney's boss also. What was the name of Fred and Barney's boss? His name was Mr. Slate. And question 20. According to a Chinese theory, there exist two forces in the universe. One is the passive negative force. The other is the active, more positive force. What are these two forces? The answer is yin and yang. Alright, that wraps up today's episode, the first 20 questions anyway. We do have a question 21 tiebreaker coming up in just a second if you need to stick around for that. If you like to watch these trivia quizzes with no music, we do have a sister channel now. It's called ROADTRIpVIA Unplugged. You can just check us out over there. We've just re-uploaded the same trivia quiz except with no music. So if it's hard to hear with the background music or you don't like the theme music, ROADTRIpVIA Unplugged, take a look at that, see if you like it. We've got a few subscribers over there, but not as many as the people who complained in the comment section about the music. Anyways, follow along either one of those channels. Get ready for question 21. The tiebreaker for today: she came to America and gained fame in the movies. In her first film, Roman Holiday, she won an Oscar, and her last film was Always with Richard Dreyfuss. Audrey Hepburn was born in Brussels in what year? Audrey Hepburn was born in Brussels in 1929, so whoever got closest to 1929 is going to win the point. And if there was a tie after question 20, whoever just won that point just won the whole game. Congratulations. Thank you for watching. Also, earlier today, we did post a live trivia quiz. Last night, Monday night, we went and we played live trivia at Chicken and Pickle. So we do have a link to that video if you want to see Team ROADTRIpVIA play some live trivia. It's a little bit different format than the regular trivia quiz videos, but if you want to check it out, here's the link to it right here. It's also in the description. Thank you for watching today. We'll catch you on the next trip.